I'm Luke Summerhays.
I'm James J. Miles.
And I'm James the Jaster Stewart.
And you're listening to Monster Mash.
And on this week's episode, we are hunting Uth Duna.
Wild thing, you make my heart sing.
With the Monster Mash, it was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did.
The monsters are under my bed. Get on with the voices inside of my head. You're trying to save me.
A leviathan that rules the Scarlet Forest as its apex predator. It has adapted to water-rich environments and is sighted most often during the downpour. It makes use of the moisture and its own bodily fluids to create a protective veil around itself.
It does indeed.
And it does. When I first saw this monster, it kind of gave me Namiel vibes. Just with like the watery
Yeah,
yellow.
it's the colour scheme and the sort of fluorescent underwater vibes. It's, well, see, when I first saw this monster, it didn't make much of an impression because it's sort of, the quest comes and goes so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of how much time it's given in the story,
Yeah.
if you were to ask me what the apex of the forest is, I would say the Shaguma.
Yeah, we kind of spoke about this on the last episode, right? Like, the Shagama has a lot of build-up.
Mm-hmm.
And if Duna is it even a kill quest initially? Is it not a repel?
No, like you get,
I think it's...
it gets stolen off you from Guardian Arkveld.
That's right, yes.
Like
yes.
you're about to kill it, it's about to run away, like, which acts as a repel quest, and then Guardian Arkveld shows up and just absorbs it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get your cars.
Which I think we'll come to this. We'll come to this with one of the other apexes as well. But yeah, they spend so much time bigging up Arkveld, they kind of undercut the apexes, and they never feel very apex to me.
Weirdly, I think, like, post-game Uth Duna, I've started to grow a lot more respect for it. Like, because this big boy hits hard.
He does.
Well, that's it. Like, this game isn't really designed based on... Like, as much as the story is front-loaded, I think the sort of active living world hunting is what the game is really built around.
Yeah.
And the apexes do feel apex when you're in the maps, right? And, like, the weather changes, the monster shows up, it can kick everything else's ass. That's when it feels like the apex monster. But I don't think they do a good job of making you feel that in the
low rank story.
The low rank campaign, yeah.
I agree. I think like
if you think back to World when they did the thing with the Rathalos and Diablos, where it's like your quests are go and hunt these two like apex monsters, and they'd been hanging around in the map up to that point, and then that quest felt like a big deal. They really sold you on those two being like ruling the roost in their respective areas. Whereas this game whizzed me along until like, oh, here's the apex, he's dead, okay, next one.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because like the story wants to focus mainly on Arkveld for the most part, because that's the whole narrative. Really, is like hunting that thing down.
Yep. The design of Uth Duna it's so interesting to me because it's very, like you were saying, talking about the Namiel comparison, where it's got like the big fins and they spread out and it's very majestic and beautiful. But then it's also, when it's on land, it's like a big fat derpy guy.
It gives me gotta try and pronounce this and not get made fun of. Royal Ludroth vibes.
There's a bit of that, yeah.
I don't see it. Where are you seeing that?
From
Like
belly
the shape
flops.
of it, like yeah, like the shape of it, like not when it's all powered up with the veil, more so like when it's looking all wimpy.
Mm.
Like it's got that kind of body shape and similar sort of moves.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say like Duramboros, like just because like how derpy like some of the moveset of Uth Duna can be.
Yeah, I mean, Uth Duna doesn't go full on breakdancer though, so
Yeah. There's like the big spiral belly flops though. I love it. Like I think out of the new monsters in Wilds, like I think Uth Duna's my favourite. It's like
wow, really,
the
wow.
fun,
Interesting.
The moveset alone.
Yeah, my
in the
brother
fight,
said the same.
Like I really like the moveset and like the water veil mechanic on top of that. Just like makes it like the best of the bunch. I think.
Well, interestingly, after talking about how kind of forgettable it is in that low rank campaign, hunting it since then, it's actually sort of shown me what it can do. I like the way it uses the water and like sends out waves. The way it jumps and does its belly flops. It sort of moves through the air in slow motion. You know who it reminds me of? Shane McMahon. You know how he seems to spend longer in the air than he should be able to?
Yeah, like
when he
the
does his
coast to
big
coast,
jumps.
like drop kick.
Yeah. Like he has a knack for making it look like he's jumping for longer than he is.
Yeah.
Well,
It's funny you bring like
the Uth Duna, of
like
course, can cheat because it's a video game, so it can actually slow down time. But
It's funny you bring up the
That might be one of the
wrestler
most.
comparison is because that is like one of the directors did say they based Uth Duna on a wrestler.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know if they meant like pro wrestler. I can't remember if they said pro wrestler or sumo
they might
wrestler.
have meant it's like sumo, yeah.
I think,
'Cause I can
think
see
they
that
meant-
a little
I think
bit
it was
too.
sumo, yeah. I want to say I'm 90% sure it was sumo.
Like if
And
it's
that's why
sumo,
you
then like
get,
I mean,
and that's why you get the belly flops.
I would say sumo is more to Tranodon from Rise.
Oh yeah. But like, there can be different levels of it, right?
I guess. Like I think more pro wrestler like doing like the big splashes, literally splashes. I could see that be more Uth Duna.
No, because like you get different shapes of wrestler, right? And there are some who are built like Uth Duna. It's the classic thing of that's what actual strongmen look like rather than bodybuilders.
Yeah, he's one you
That's
definitely
why
have
I've got
to,
big bellies, because I'm actually a strongman.
He's one you definitely have to learn to respect. Like even after that initial kind of weak impression, like
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because normally I think in Monster Hunter games you associate like tricky fights with monsters that are relentless in attacking. Uth Duna isn't really like that because its moves are so ponderous and like really laboured movements when it does attack. But that almost throws you off. Like there's been plenty of times where I've tried to dodge, assuming the move's going to come out, but he kind of delays and hangs, like you said, like a little bit longer than you'd expect. And then you'll get hit by huge amounts of damage when he does smack you. I mean, like, I don't know if monster damage is tuned to the same degree as damage done on hunters, but like in the hunt, we speak about it in the hunt episode. Like he hit like a 3,000 on Mizutsune just with a belly flop, which is wild. So yeah, I mean you have to learn to respect who's done it at high rank, and I think it makes it a really cool fight in that regard because it is different from the others, in my opinion.
And I think because also, like, I don't get the impression that he goes around picking fights necessarily.
No,
Like the storm comes and he has to go and hunt food.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it seems like quite a... And maybe it's just because I'm associating it with like whales and stuff in the real world. It feels like it's a peaceful, serene creature. And it's like, you have to anger it, but once you've angered it, then you're in trouble.
Mm.
Yeah, it definitely has a unique feel compared to the other apexes.
I really like the weather effect it does as well. Like the Scarlet Forest even more so than the planes. Like the planes obviously has probably one of the most dramatic weather effects, but I just love how you really see the Scarlet Forest change throughout each of the weather cycles they have. I think
I agree with you, but because he only appears in the downpour, it's like when the Scarlet Forest looks worst. So, like, it's always grey and, you know,
You do get the
like
odd moment, though, where, like,
it's misty, you can't see very far.
if you are fighting
So
it,
his colours don't really pop in this weather.
I do like it if
I
you're fighting
guess,
it for
'cause
long enough, though. Like,
it
the
makes me
weather
wish I
will,
could see him
kind
in
of
sunlight.
transition into, like, the plenty period, and it's good to fight Uth Duna during that. You see the crystal
I've
clear
had
blue
hunts where the
water.
sun breaks while I'm fighting him, and that is, yeah. I just wish I could see him in that mode a little bit more, I think.
yeah, because like if you compare it to the first monster we spoke about, other than Uth Duna on this cast, Namiel has the Coral Highlands, which compare to that monster so well and like really make it pop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this kind of like very drizzly grey, the mountains are silhouetted in the mist. It just reminds me of like stay-at-home weather. Both in the UK and here in Nagano.
Well, look, if there's a Uth Duna going about the forest, you got to stay at home. I ain't heading out.
Nah, I can take it.
This is one you could be in a fight, is it?
Almost certainly not, because I'm not a good swimmer.
Elbow, like tie up.
Speaking of swimming, though, have you seen this guy underwater?
Yes. Because I think you can hit it with the ruins up the top, right?
Mm.
You can do it also.
But there's a spot where you can swim and it swims next to you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
there
never
is that
done
big
it myself,
deep
but I've
body of
seen the
water to swim
clips
through.
there.
I didn't know you could see the Uth Duna from that point, though.
Yeah, sometimes you can see it swim past you. You get a proper look at it underwater. Alas, we don't get to hunt it underwater.
That's like that
Or
part of
maybe
the water
for the best.
in the Scarlet Forest just makes me sad from the underwater fights returning.
You can also sometimes see it. If it goes to the top where you can hit it with the ruins. If it's up there and it's not in combat, it'll sometimes swim about the water and hunt fish.
Nice.
Like the big ones, like the tunas.
But yeah, that's what I mean when I say I don't
His
think
own
it's
kind.
out
Uth-
picking
Uth
fights, you know?
So a lot of people in the community like kind of been seeing like, people call them that.
I would be.
Well, apparently it's... Well, do you want to get into the name while we're on it?
Might as well now, yeah.
Because it's from Japanese, which is Usu, which is whirlpool, and then Tuna, which is a Japanese god of eels.
Oh. Wait, the god of eels is called Tuna.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, it's a different language, Jay.
Well, I know. Quite interesting. I'm allowed to be interested in how languages differ. This would be normally the bit where I chime in about the weapon names, but fuck if I know. Because
yeah, I took a look at them and they're funky, but I don't know what they mean.
yeah, so they're interesting. It's interesting because they're all like formatted like off the waves, like with hyphens between. But the actual names of them, like Dalgap off the waves, Olaka off the waves, like they're obviously there must be some. I don't believe after.
No, I've got a feeling they're going to be like famous sailors or famous. I was looking up like names of different sea monsters, but I couldn't find any that match. Names of sea gods, so I couldn't find any that match.
Yeah,
It's like
gonna
one
be
of them though.
something
Like,
like
it
that.
definitely felt like I can't remember what weapon it is. I'll try and look it up, see if I can find it. But it definitely had like an Aztec type of like vibe to the name, and that kind of fits the way that.
But they
armour
tend
is
to
as
be the other ones with the weapon names. They tend to take different names from around the world. the ones that we found, like, because the Shagama was different bear gods from different cultures, and then like different spiders from all around the world. There's one that's different assassins. We'll get to later.
Yes.
So I wouldn't have thought they would all be Aztec, but maybe. You know, the only pattern is that there is no pattern.
Yeah, it's the Charblade, Valaraho of the Waves. I think that's how. Valeroge.
But like you say, yeah, the armour has like a big feathery head crest and stuff. It does look a bit Aztec warrior.
You can kind of get a bit of that vibe off of like Uth Duna himself, like with the markings around his eyes.
Yeah, he could be a bit of a... Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. And it's almost sort of like a feathered dragon Quetzalcoatl thing. But yeah, very funky monster.
From the fight aspect, just something I was wondering about, maybe one of you will know the answer. When you're hitting the veil, I know it's you get the damage numbers pop up and they're blue, obviously showing you're doing reduced damage to it. But is that still coming off the monster's overall health pool, or is that like a separate health
I
pool?
think it's his
I think if you're getting numbers, it's coming off.
Yeah,
it's still damage.
I think it is it's damage to the veil only, I think.
Really?
I think so. I think that's why.
Like
the
putting
damage
up
numbers are
substituting
blue.
Pokemon.
Like, not 100% on that. Like, could just be like making it up, but like that's the impression I get anyway.
Well, I mean, it might just be confirmation bias, but like fights against Uth Duna always seem to run a bit longer.
They do run a bit long, yeah.
So, I mean, my listeners, if you genuinely know the answer to that, please also let us know, along with doing our work for us and telling us what the Uth Duna weapon names mean.
Yeah. Your numbers will become blue while hitting it, indicating that you're dealing damage to its veil, according to Moby Games.
Which, yes, but is the veil also coming off the overall monster health? That's
It could be
something.
It can be
really like-
fiddly, man. Like sometimes, like I could see Capcom like making it like do damage to both instances.
I feel like I don't think there would be a situation where you're hitting the monster and not damaging it.
Yeah. Maybe it's something that like data miners might have found out on
some
PC
sort
or
of, like,
something.
weird
like.
kind of multiplier. Like
That's why I was hoping to see when I googled it, but I couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they've often had numbers which are not actually quite the real numbers. Like the way weapon damage used to be calculated, where it was like it was scaled, right? So a greatsword would say it does 10, and a sword and shield would say it does 10. But they're not doing the same damage plus white.
Great
and then they replaced that.
Great Sword's 10 is greater than the Shield's 10.
That's why they do the whole bloated value thing. To kind of
yeah.
the difference.
Overall, I like, as years go by and we play more and more of this game, I like this I'm sure I will love this monster, but it's a shame that it had a little bit of a weak first impression. And I'm sure there are a lot of #gamers out there who kind of did just play the story and put the game down. Barely going to remember this guy.
I mean, they'll probably barely remember most of the game.
Yeah. They'll remember how annoying the kid was, and they'll remember fighting. Fighting the big guy at the end. And the octopus if they're you.
We try not to remember that.
Never forget.
We'll always be here to remind you, Jay.
Speaking of our listeners doing our work for us, my brother's clearly listened to episodes from a little while back, as he got in touch with me about the Balahara, which is one of the ones we couldn't figure out the weapon names for. And
you say a while back, that's the one that went up this week.
Oh, okay. Well, it's in the past for me, and I'm the only person that counts.
Yeah.
So I'll just read you what he said. He said, was looking at Balahar weapon names. It's very confusing. They seem to be loosely based on Hindi words derived from Sanskrit, but some are weird. Like insect glaive roughly means elevation. Hunting horn is very similar to the name of a guy who is seen as like the progenitor of Hindi music in film. I don't know where he's got this from. Sword and shield just means tiger. Lance means prelude to the end of the universe. Gun lance means engaging. That one I can buy. But he said like for some reason Hindi and Sanskrit words just pulled out of...
Yeah, I guess because it lives in the desert. I don't think India's that desert. It's near the Middle East.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be the dev team.
Well, then maybe Jas is right then, and the Uth Duna weapons are all going to be Aztec.
Could be. I'll go let my brother do research on Aztec etymology. Uth Duna is in the rear view mirror. Coming up next time, it's time for a romp! As we hunt Rompompolo. So join us for that one, but until then, Luke, please tell them, where can we be found?
Well, if you've enjoyed this podcast, you can find other podcasts we make by going to podcastios.org. You can help support the podcast, keep it online, by going to patreon.com/podcastios, where for just $1 a month you'll hear episodes as soon as they're finished editing, and you'll help make sure that we can pay the bills and keep uploading, even if we all somehow become unemployed or something. You can find us on Blue Sky at Podcast, where you can get in touch, tell us what the weapon names mean. You can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a comment on YouTube. And if you want to, you can... I mean, I said $1 a month. You could give $5 a month. You could give $10 a month. If you're like a billionaire and you're listening to this, just like drop a mil a month. And we could do this full time. This could be our job.
Mate, if they drop a mil for 1 month, I think we're all good for a while.
Yeah, you can do it once. If you're like, I don't know if I can afford $1 million a month, but you can give us just 1 million, do it.
I might buy a new mic if they do that.
Yeah, I think there might just be a few upgrades, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd get a PS5 Pro.
Come on, that's stupid.
Yeah, probably still would.
Not about wasting our money.
If somebody's listening and you want to send me a PS5 Pro,
Then we take back what we're saying. We love the machine. Send us one, please. 3, actually.
if anything, I think it's the real PS5 and the other one was just a warm-up.
Yep. But it's still a fantastic option for those that would like to buy the PS5 original. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a great... You should buy a PS5 with a plan to get a PS5 Pro
Yeah.
a year down the line.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, the PS5, you buy that for the kids. The Pro, you buy that for yourself.
Yeah.
And Sony...
And Horizon's great and not boring.
Yeah. And they should remake The Last of Us again. Thanks for listening.
Perfection.
Cheerio.